Well, hello, welcome to Friday's Nuts Today with me, Emma Caldwell. I hope you're well today. Thank you for joining us. Here's what's on the show today. First, we've heard concerns from campaigners after tenants were given notice to leave Tollerton Airport within months so that new homes can be built.
Businesses will be destroyed. In 3 months' time, they've nowhere to go. You can't fix aeroplanes in your back garden. Homes can be built in many places. Airfields can't.
We'll have more on that in just a minute. Plus, we'll be meeting two of the Notts ice skaters representing Britain on an international scale. A few weeks ago, we met Icicles juniors, and today we're meeting two of the senior sides who are representing their country in Helsinki next month. They're on the sofa shortly. Plus, of course, tomorrow is International Women's Day, and we'll be heading to a brewery which has perfected a pink beer.
We've done 2,500 litres. I think with all the bottoms dropped out, that equates to about 2,000 litres. So we're canning about 1,400 or 1,500 cans today, and the rest going into keg.
And we've been to a new partnership between Notts County and the charity Footprints, offering after-school sessions for children with disabilities.
Well, even though we've just started, we're already seeing mums, dads, children's, grandparents giggling together, competing together, joining in together. That's what sport should be. At its best, it should be involvement.
And we'll have a full sports roundup which features Pies head coach Stuart Maynard looking ahead to their League Two clash with Wimbledon.
So it's a huge game for us and we're really looking forward to it. So we just go one game at a time. Wimbledon's our next opportunity to go get 3 points, and it's a game that we're looking forward to and we'll be going into to try and win the game of football.
We've got all that and loads more coming up just for you, but first, Nottingham's Icicles seniors team has been selected to represent Great Britain at the World Synchronised Skating Championship in Finland in April. Icicles seniors will represent their country for the 5th time at the competition, and this year's event will take place in Helsinki. And in the meantime, you can watch their fantastic team in action at a gala showcase next Saturday. Team captain Anna Longworth and skater Bahira Elmantawi joined me on the sofa now. Thank you so much for joining us. So let's talk about your skating journey. How did it start for you?
Well, it started for me when I was about 10, which is quite late for
I was going to say,
ice
that
skating.
feels late for ice
Yes,
skating.
it is, but I managed to catch up, which was nice. I started a Learn to Skate programme and just progressed from there. I got scouted to join synchronised skating and worked my way up from the bottom to the top.
Amazing. And what about you, Bahira?
So actually I started around 6-7 years old, but I used to live in the United Arab Emirates, so there was just a rink near my house. We'd never been skating before. Me and my mum just went skating, give it a go, falling over all over the place, but it was really fun. So then I just started skating, started training, and I'd been a figure skater since then up until about a year ago when I found out about this amazing team, and I came and joined, and I did a trial. I loved it and been doing it ever since.
I mean, it sounds incredible. We've got a video clip of you that we're going to show in just a sec. You're going to be representing Britain on an international scale in Helsinki at the World Synchronised Skating Champion. There we go. There's some. I mean, this just looks so cool. Like, honestly, this is I can't skate to save my life, but if I could, this would be exactly what I would want to do. How many routines do you have to perfect before you go to a World Championship like that?
So you do 2 programmes every year, short programme and a free programme. Free programmes, longer, more interesting in my opinion. You have lifts where you lift people above your head.
Wow.
Really, really quite impressive. The short programme is more technical, but they're both equally as impressive if you see them.
Is all the training on the ice, or do you do any of the training where you're kind of like working on the steps off the ice?
Yeah, so we do a lot of off-ice training where it's really mostly about focusing on the timing and on everything being precise, even to the details of like where exactly does your head look, what are your fingers doing, like
wow.
Just really getting those details so that when it's on the ice and there's so many of us, when all that's going on, that it just looks as perfect and as in unison as possible. So yeah, we do lots of off-ice. We also do gym because, as she said, we lift people above our heads. It's absolutely insane. So we do a lot of gym training and conditioning and running and just a lot.
I mean, that really is a lot as well. And we were talking about this before we came to air. So the Icicles seniors team are aged between 17 and 25, but everyone on the team is either in a job, at work, or in full-time education. How are you fitting all of this in?
Yes, well, luckily for us, we train on weekends only with the team because we travel from all over the UK. So we have people from Bradford, London, come as far as really far down south, 4 hours to training. So we cram it all in a weekend.
And everyone just arrives in Nottingham.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great place to meet, if I'm absolutely honest.
Right in the middle.
Absolutely, it's such a good place to be. So what are you most looking forward to about the World Championships?
Well, this is my 5th one.
I know, see, that's incredible.
I'm going back to Helsinki, which is where I skated my first World Championships in 2019. And the crowd there was unbelievable. This is looking to be like a sold out event. So 8,000 plus tickets have been sold. So it's going to be an incredible one. And this is Bahira's first time. So she's really in the deep end. But
I mean, you've really been flung in with the World Championship there. How are you feeling about it?
No, I'm super excited. I can't wait. Like I was saying, it's a dream come true. Like I'm so grateful to get this opportunity that I get to skate in front of that many people at such a world event. I think if I told me when I was a kid, yeah, by the way, you're going to Worlds in a couple of weeks, she'd think, no way, like she wouldn't believe it. So yeah, it's a dream come true.
When you were talking about when you were 6 and you were just skating with your mum because it was fun, and like, look at you now, it's amazing. So what happens after the World Championships in April? What does the rest of 2025 look like?
So that's then when we go into off-season and we stop doing our programmes and we really work on the basics, preparing again for next season, which will start in around October, November time, and then start the new programmes. Until then, it just carries on.
It's very exciting. We're going to run out of time, but I want to quickly ask you about the Gala Showcase next Saturday. Tell us about that.
So, Gala Showcase, we've got all 7, I think, teams skating in a showcase. That's everyone's final performance besides ours. We've got the World Championships, obviously. So everyone's at the peak of skating at that point in the season, so it'll be a really good event to
and anyone can go to that?
Yes.
I love that. I might turn up to that and cheer you on. That'll be amazing. And if we do want to find out more, where can we go?
I'd probably go to our Instagram page, either NSSA Nottingham or Team Icicles Senior.
Brilliant. Well, good luck at the World Championships, and thank you so much for coming. Good luck for your 5th time. Good luck for your first time.
Thank you.
Doesn't that sound cool? Moving on now, businesses at Nottingham City Airport have been handed a 3-month notice to make way for more than 4,000 homes. The airport has been running for 95 years, providing the area with flight schools, cafes, and it's even the refuelling site of police and air ambulance helicopters. But after an arrangement between developers confirmed the continuation of secure landings for the air ambulance, the site will be closed within months. And although planning is for the development is yet to be approved, campaigners came together to protest the decision. Jack Sims has more.
Nottingham City Airport. Once these runways defended the nation from the threat of the Luftwaffe, but now the same runways are being fought for by residents and business owners. For 95 years, the airport has provided aviators with a safe refuge. From its days as an RAF base to now training a new generation of private and commercial pilots within its various flight schools. It also acts as a refuelling site for the air ambulance and police helicopters. And while developers say the agreement with the air ambulance will continue, they see a different future for the wider site. In 2020, plans were submitted to Rushcliffe Borough Council to see a phased development of more than 4,000 homes. This week, Truman Aviation, the site's operator, says it's been handed a 3-month notice by developer Vistry Homes. June the 6th being the destination date for when businesses at the airport will need to turn in their wings. For Alison Holt, who has run the Chocks Away Cafe for 13 years, the news was a shock, even with looming housing plans.
I am really stunned, to be honest, because it makes no sense. It makes no sense when there's no planning permission being granted, when there's apparently there's a whole master plan that needs to be in place. You know, the aeroplanes are certainly the draw and obviously the cake, but it's an irreplaceable place. So no, it's not a done deal.
In response to the notice, campaign group Save Nottingham City Airport gathered at the airport's gates, flying their colours of support. For Sarah Deacon, chair of the group, she says expecting businesses to move out in 3 months is callous.
Businesses will be destroyed. In 3 months' time, they've nowhere to go. You can't fix aeroplanes in your back garden. Homes can be built in many places. Airfields can't.
These businesses also took their place at the picket line, like flying instructor Lucas Wilcox. He says the development is shooting down the hopes for the future of flight.
And we're looking at advanced air mobility, and university here at Nottingham is very interested in developing hydrogen infrastructure and flying. This is an ideal site for all that kind of thing. A mile of railway takes you 1 mile. What does a mile of runway do? It can take you a lot further.
Vistry didn't want to comment on the protest held today, but in a statement the developer pledged to continue with the air ambulance landing agreement. And it said its portion of housing on the land will have a positive impact on the community, creating jobs, green spaces and much needed homes. But for the campaigners here, the flight is far from over. Jack Sims for Notts TV.
Right, let's take a look at some more news headlines first. And a hospital trust is investigating reports that staff may have inappropriately accessed the medical records of the 3 people killed in the Nottingham attacks. Grayson Mali Kumar, Barnaby Webber and Ian Coates were all killed by Valdo Calacane in the city in June 2023. And various concerns have been raised about how public services in the city handled the incident. Now, Nottingham University Hospitals Trust has confirmed it's investigating concerns a member of staff inappropriately accessed the victims' medical records, and it's apologised to their families. Next, and a sex offender has been jailed after he was found in possession of child sexual abuse images. 23-year-old Lucas Banton was exposed when an email address was used to upload 2 indecent videos of children onto the internet. Examinations by the police discovered nearly 17,000 images, with more than 200 classed as Category A. Banton of Byron Street in Daybrook admitted to 6 counts of making indecent images of children and was jailed for 33 months when he appeared in Nottingham Crown Court on Wednesday. Right, time for a break now, so pop and grab yourself a cup of tea and come back after the ads, because we'll be meeting the star of an opera coming to the Theatre Royal in Nottingham later this month, also heading over to Notts County for a new after-school partnership. All that's on the way in moments. Hello, welcome back to Friday's show with me, Emma Caldwell. Thank you for joining us. Here's what's happening in Notts today. First, and Notts leaders are considering 3 different options for how local governments could look in the county following reforms. One option would see Nottingham, Broxtowe and Gedling combined to form a single council, with the remaining local authorities forming a second singular council. The second option is similar, but would see Rushcliffe joining Nottingham and Broxtowe rather than Gedling. The third option would involve one single unitary authority for Notts and the city boundaries staying the same. The plan needs to be agreed by November. Next, down the Links and Notts Air ambulance has been rated as outstanding by the health watchdog after it was grounded due to an administrative error. Helicopters were temporarily grounded last month after the charity missed a deadline to renew its controlled drugs licence. The Care Quality Commission inspected the service in July last year and published a report this week. In it, the charity was rated as outstanding, and the CQC said the licence issue was resolved at the earliest opportunity. Next, a new operatic production is coming to the city for all ages to enjoy the sweet sound of opera. The Magic Flute Light has been made especially for children, encouraging school trips to come along and soak in the operatic atmosphere. It's so that new audiences can come and enjoy the notoriously popular form of entertainment with a more mature audience, so that the passion for opera can live on for the foreseeable future. Themba Mavula, who is playing the role of Papageno, joins me now. Themba, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. So for those who aren't familiar with the Magic Flute, what can you tell us about it?
Well, yeah, it's one of Mozart's sort of famous pieces, but it has lots of amazing music. There's things that everyone will know, the Queen of the Night aria with some of the highest notes in opera, but it's also a very fun story, lots of things to do with kind of magic and ideas. Yeah, it's a really brilliant piece. It's got sort of something for everything. There's comedy in there. My character in particular plays quite a comic sort of element in it, Papageno. And it's at its heart, it's a sort of a love story, a quest, but there's a love story underneath it as well. So yeah, really something for everyone kind of piece.
And this is a really interesting one because it's a new production specifically aimed at kind of a younger audience. Why do you think it's important for young people to get the chance to see a really famous opera like this?
I think, opera is a really exciting art form, and it has a lot of bad, lots of people have a sort of bad perception of it, that it's quite formal, it's really long and all of this, but actually it is just amazing. Some of it is really amazing, exciting music, and kids, we've done this show. I've performed to kids, over the years, and kids really love opera. There's something about how expressive it is. The colors, the sets are so, these days are so, imaginative. The costumes and all of that. There's so much to appreciate. So it's not just, oh, let's go and sit and listen quietly to an opera. It's much more exciting than that.
See, this is the thing. I think people have a real preconception of what an opera is, and it's something, unattainable to a lot of people, and you might not understand it. It might be performed in a different language. But this is different, isn't it? Yeah, this one we're performing in an English translation, and it's very sort of like just a normal modern English translation. And there's also what we call surtitles, so you can see the words as well if you're sort of. So there's lots of things been done to make it more accessible, and this particular version, the Magic Flute Light, is a shorter version. So it's now the whole opera is within under 2 hours. So you still get all of the music, all the key fun bits of music that people recognize, but it all happens at a much faster pace. So it's sort of perfect for younger people or newcomers to opera who just never been to an opera before. They want to just sort of try it out. It's less of a sort of commitment, if that makes sense. It makes perfect sense, and I really do think it's a really great initiative, and I think initiatives like this are so important for kind of getting new audience members in, aren't they? Yeah, definitely. I think you've got to reach out to, because what we were talking about earlier, that perception that people have of opera, and you sort of, anything that you can do to get them in to experience it, and then hopefully once you've experienced it, you've got a taste of it, then you can go and choose what you want to see. There's so much different opera out there, so then you can sort of make your mind up. But it's that first getting engaged with which matters. So hopefully a production like this, a light version, shorter version, is exactly what people need to sort of get into it. And how have you found audience reaction from doing sort of a lighter version? It's been amazing that the children, we had one performance in Leeds, which was during half term, and so we had families with their kids and stuff, and they were screaming and cheering, and they really loved it. And we did a show in Newcastle just yesterday, and again, at the end of the show, the kids were just screaming for their characters. They really sort of get behind the different characters, and I don't know, it's a really the feeling we're getting is that people are really engaged with it. So it's really rewarding for you as a performer when you feel that that sense of engagement from the audience. And it's a really interesting one as well, because I think as grown-ups we have a perception of what opera is, but of course kids don't have any preconceived ideas of what they're coming to see. It's just a great performance to them. And what would you say to people who just think it's not for them and have never seen an opera before? I think definitely try it. That's the thing. I think it's one thing to imagine opera, even if you've seen a bit of a clip on an advert or something, and you just hear someone going, oh, you think, why would I go to that? But there's actually, you just have to experience it. There's opera is one of those things that has all the different elements of different art forms coming together. I mentioned the sets, the costumes, the orchestra. You're hearing live music, and live voices projected into a big space. It's a very unique experience. So even if you go away thinking it's not quite for me, you would have had an amazing experience. Amazing. Remind us when and where you're performing in Nottingham. So it's at the Theatre Royal in Nottingham on the 20th of March. And it's at 11 a.m. So it's a matinee, if you like, or a morning show. Love that. So amazing. We cannot wait to see you in Nottingham. Thank you so much for taking the time today. Thank you so much. Right, moving on now, and Nottingham children with a wide range of disabilities are being given the chance to show what they can really do with a new sport programme. It's being developed by local charities and the Notts County Foundation and hopes to break down barriers for people who are disabled. The Forward Thinking project is being launched officially next week, and Kira Byrne visited a taster session.
Sport is well known for providing unity and a sense of belonging, and this Nottinghamshire charity is ensuring all children have the chance to get involved. Footprints has teamed up with Epic Partners and the Notts County Foundation on We Belong. The scheme is planning to offer weekly introductory sessions to children with disabilities to show what activities are open to them, including bocce, archery and football. This one-off free taster session is being run at Notts County's Nest venue near Meadow Lane. Footprints wants to show families and children what's possible before full sessions start next week.
And sport isn't always been great at including people, especially being competitive. I think the problem with disability sport is people either see it as a joke and, oh, look at them, aren't they clever? Or they see it as superheroes because they're thinking about Paralympians. Actually, there's everybody in between that wants to be included, wants to feel part of it. Well, even though we've just started, we're already seeing mums, dads, children's, grandparents giggling together, competing together, joining in together. That's what sport should be. At its best, it should be involvement.
All the sports can be adapted for different needs, and Notts County are hopeful to set the standard of collaborations like this for other big organisations to follow.
Sometimes they are underrepresented and there's not enough activities that are run for people with disabilities, and sometimes they feel like they can't attend certain physical activity sessions, and I think it's important that more clubs and more cities have these sort of opportunities.
Lucy has been attending other Footprint sessions with her son Matthew for many years. He uses a wheelchair and still doesn't have a diagnosis. Lucy says the sessions have been fundamental in his development and is looking forward to him now having the chance to try sport too.
We saw on Children in Need there was a Footprints charity and it just happened to be down the road from us. So we went, and he's been going since he was 1 year old. It's been amazing. He's got so much more strength, his communication, his social ability. He's just got a lot more that he probably wouldn't have had if he didn't go to Footprints for all those years. There's nothing really else out there for him, so he would love to be able to join in and stuff. So yeah, we're definitely going to sign up.
By levelling the playing field, We Belong hopes to provide every child with the chance to enjoy the benefits of sport and put ability into disability. Kira Byrne for Notts TV.
Thank you, Kira. Love that. Time for your sport now, and we are sticking with Notts County, who are in action this weekend away at Wimbledon. Both sides are vying for promotion and have been leapfrogging each other in recent weeks. Notts are a point and a place above Wimbledon in the table, though both sides lost their matches midweek. Speaking ahead of the game, County head coach Stuart Maynard said it's an important match against a tough side.
Look, we just go a game at a time. Our next game's Wimbledon away. They've got incredible home form. We've got really good away form. It's going to be a really tough game and we're really looking forward to it. The big games are the ones that we want to be involved in. It's a game, like you say, that we're both fighting for automatics. So it's a huge game for us and we're really looking forward to it. So we just go one game at a time. Wimbledon's our next opportunity to go get 3 points, and it's a game that we're looking forward to and we'll be going into to try and win the game of football.
Mansfield are also in action tomorrow when they travel to Stevenage. The Stags haven't won since January but are unbeaten in their last two, drawing both, firstly away at Burton last weekend and then away at home to Wigan on Tuesday. Their opponents, Stevenage, won on Tuesday night at home to Cambridge. And for Forest, it's a home match with champions Man City in the early kick-off. The Reds face Pep Guardiola's side at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon and go into the game 1 point and 1 place ahead of them in the Premier League. A win for Nuno Espirito Santo's side would significantly strengthen their hopes for European football returning to the City Ground next season. And in ice hockey, it's a double game weekend for the Nottingham Panthers. They start the weekend with a sold-out home match against arch rivals the Sheffield Steelers tomorrow. That clash is second versus third in the Elite League, with a win enough to lift the Panthers into second place, and they then travel to face Cardiff Devils on Sunday. But before those matches, we've got all the action from their defeat to Glasgow Clan on Wednesday. It's going to be shown on Notts TV tonight from 7:30. Your Friday photo of the day now. This lovely shot, look at that, taken by our very own Nicola Dawson at Woodthorpe Park. Love that. Time for your weather now. And tonight we'll see temperatures dropping to 8 degrees and tomorrow will be a sunny one throughout. So get outside and make the most of it if you can. Temperatures will go all the way up to 18 in the early afternoon, 18 with lows of 6 in the evening. Lastly, Sunday will be a sunny one all day too, with lows of 6 and highs again of 18. Right, time for another break, but well, we've got our What's On guide coming right up, including looking ahead to the next fortnight too, with lovely Eve Smallman from the Notts Edit. All that and loads more Notts news and views on the way in just a few minutes. We'll see you soon. Welcome back to Friday's Notts Today with me, Emma Caldwell. Thank you for joining us. Here's some more of your news headlines. First, and a former Nottingham City Council leader wants to build wind turbines in the city centre to meet net zero carbon goals. David Mellon, who led the council for 5 years until last May, says the renewable energy source would be an ambitious step in the council's carbon reduction targets, which include making the city net zero by 2028. The pledge was made 6 years ago and the council says it's sticking to it. And in the meeting this week, the former council leader said bringing in wind turbines would be a big step for the authority. Next, and opposition councillors have suggested Nottinghamshire County Council's new £90 million headquarters should be used as an NHS facility instead. The Conservative-led council will move into the building called Oak House later on this month, but the independent group on the council has suggested the building should be reused for other purposes instead, especially in light of planned government reforms. They've said they would use it as an NHS one-stop shop facility if they won the election in May, whilst Labour also said they would sell the building. Time now for your Friday What's On Guide, where we give you a little rundown of what you can get up to out and about this fine Friday evening to kick your weekend off the right way. And we are starting things off over at the Alcove on St James's Street with their all-welcome singles night, where you can broaden your not-social circle over drinks. It starts at 7 and tickets cost £12. Alternatively, at 7 p.m. at the Palais is the legendary disco for grown-ups. This sounds fabulous. Tickets are still available on the Eventbrite website, which cost £11. Have lots of fun if you go into that, and you'll be in bed in a beautiful time. And lastly, but by no means least, it's R&B karaoke night at the Lace Bar on High Pavement, which also starts at 7. You can just turn up at the door and sing your heart out. Whatever you're doing tonight, have a great one. And that's a little snippet of what you can get up to tonight. But how about over the next fortnight? I'm thrilled to say I'm joined now by our regular contributor, the fabulous Eve Smallman from the Notts Edit, to have a look over some of the great events taking place across our city and county over the coming weekend and the next few weeks too. Welcome to the show, Eve. Happy Friday to you.
Happy Friday.
Now, there's loads of different things that are going on. We talked pancakes last time you were here. I did indulge in some beautiful pancakes across Nottingham. Yeah, I love them.
What did you have?
Pudding Pantry was my pancake to go to this year, and honestly, they just do some amazing pancakes.
They do.
Love, love, love. But we are past pancakes. We are talking new things for a brand new month as well. We'll start with the Nottingham 10K.
Yes, well, kind of the opposite of pancakes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this Sunday, you can still enter. There's still entries available. You start on Market Square, and then you would go up to Nottingham Girls High School, move back down, or run back down to the motor point, and then you loop back up to the castle. So it's 10K. And it's all for charity as well, so you can sign up for a local cause that you want to raise funds for.
Absolutely. So this is such a massive thing that you can do across Nottinghamshire. I won't be running 10K myself. However, I do know people that have, that are going to be running. However, it's a really nice event just to go and watch people run.
Yes, it is. I mean, I did the Robin Hood Half Marathon in September, and I would do this, but I'm going to a wedding tomorrow, so I figured it wasn't really, I wasn't sure. But it is nice how everyone just comes out and supports you. You hear people cheering your name, which is always super motivational, and it's nice to see the whole city come together for something like this.
Absolutely. So there are a few road closures that we need to be aware of, but it will be taking place on Sunday, this Sunday.
Yes.
Lovely. If you're running that, good luck, by the way. Next up, Ben Portsmouth. This is Elvis. This one sounds intriguing.
Yes, this is next Saturday at the Royal Concert Hall. So he'll be performing as Elvis. Apparently he's very good. Fans say that it's about as close as you can get to the real thing. He'll be doing a mixture of early stuff, his comeback special, Vegas shows, all fan favourites that you can sing and dance along to. And you're absolutely right. I've heard of Ben Portsmouth before, and he is incredible because even when he's not dressed as Elvis, you would pass him in the street and go, oh, well, hang on, I think Elvis has just walked past me. He's amazing. And I think if you're going to go and see somebody do kind of an Elvis impression, so to speak, like, you could not get any closer than Ben. I have to go. I have been thinking about going because I watched the Elvis film a couple of years ago with Austin Butler, and I was I could get into this vibe, so maybe I'll go. Even if you're not an Elvis fan, you go, oh, I know that song, and I know that song, and I know that song. So when's that on? That's next Saturday at the Royal Concert Hall. So not this Saturday, but March 15th. Lovely. My husband's birthday. Interesting. Must remember that one. Spring Plant Hunters Fair in Newark is up next. Yes, that's at Thorsby Park on March 16th, so the Sunday. It's free entry, and there's going to be a range of different nurseries and plant experts who will tell you the kind of things that you should be picking up to create your perfect spring and summer garden. Oh, we're just seeing some lovely pictures. Honestly, I'd love my garden to look like that. I am just not green-fingered in any way, shape or form. But maybe this is why we need to go to spring plant fairs. I know, well, I'm okay. I'm growing some peonies from seed at the moment, and I grew radishes last year, which were very exciting. So I'm trying to, and I might go and get some inspiration there. I love that. So that's free to go to? That's free to go to. It's £3 parking, but it's free entry. Lovely. And last but not least, there is an event coming up too. Yes. There's Mother's Day at Debbie Bryan, so both locations, City Centre and Runnington Village. There's events on from March 28th till the 30th. So there's afternoon tea and crafternoons and all that lovely stuff that you just want to treat.
Crafternoons, that just sounds gorgeous. I've never heard it called crafternoons before.
You know what, me neither, but I actually like the idea of it. I think there's like ceramic bunny painting and embroidery, that sort of lovely mindful stuff, that kind of things you want to do. You know, treat yourself or treat your mum or your grandmother or anyone special in your life, really.
And do you have to book on for that beforehand?
Yes, you have to book on for that beforehand. So definitely have a look at the website, because they're all sort of different timed events for either the city centre or Runnington Village.
Lovely. So there's loads of different things that are coming up across Nottingham. And of course, you talk about loads of different things as well. If we want to find out more about what's going on, where can we find out more?
Well, you can go to thenotssaidit.com. We send out Not's Going On every Monday, which has events, news and property and all that good stuff. You can also follow us on Instagram and TikTok to find out a little bit more. We'll post events on there too.
I love that. And what made you set up the Not Said It? Because this has been going for a while now and it's so successful. What started it all?
Well, I'm a lifestyle journalist and worked in print and I've worked in digital, and I wanted to bring the quality of print and the sort of, you know, accessibility of digital together in that sort of format. So I know we could have just done it as a social media page, but for me, journalism is really important. So I wanted to bring that in a bit more of a lifestyle-y. I know we have got news, we have got other print magazines, but for me, I wanted to do something that felt sophisticated but also still felt accessible. Anybody can go on the Not Said It and find events that they want to go to.
And I've got to be honest, it is really nice when that email drops through and I'm like, oh, what's going on now? I love that. So if people want to sign up, where can they go?
They can go to thenotssaidit.com and you can subscribe for free to get our articles in your inbox.
Love that. Eve, happy Friday to you. Thank you very much for coming in and sharing that with us. All right, time for another look at one of your top stories today. In businesses at Nottingham City Airport have been handed a 3-month notice to make way for more than 4,000 homes. The airport has been running for 95 years, providing the area with flight schools, cafes and even the refuelling site of police and air ambulance helicopters. But after an arrangement between developers confirmed the continuation of secure landing for the air ambulance, the site will be closed within months. And although planning for the development is yet to be approved, campaigners came together to protest the decision. Jack Sims has more.
Nottingham City Airport. Once these runways defended the nation from the threat of the Luftwaffe, but now the same runways are being fought for by residents and business owners. For 95 years, the airport has provided aviators with a safe refuge. From its days as an RAF base to now training a new generation of private and commercial pilots within its various flight schools. It also acts as a refuelling site for the air ambulance and police helicopters. And while developers say the agreement with the air ambulance will continue, they see a different future for the wider site. In 2020, plans were submitted to Rushcliffe Borough Council to see a phased development of more than 4,000 homes. This week, Truman Aviation, the site's operator, says it's been handed a 3-month notice by developer Vistry Homes. June the 6th being the destination date for when businesses at the airport will need to turn in their wings. For Alison Holt, who has run the Chocks Away Cafe for 13 years, the news was a shock, even with looming housing plans.
I am really stunned, to be honest, because it makes no sense. It makes no sense when there's no planning permission being granted, when there's apparently there's a whole master plan that needs to be in place. You know, the aeroplanes are certainly the draw and obviously the cake, but it's an irreplaceable place. So no, it's not a done deal.
In response to the notice, campaign group Save Nottingham City Airport gathered at the airport's gates, flying their colours of support. For Sarah Deacon, chair of the group, she says expecting businesses to move out in 3 months is callous.
Businesses will be destroyed. In 3 months' time, they've nowhere to go. You can't fix aeroplanes in your back garden. Homes can be built in many places. Airfields can't.
These businesses also took their place at the picket line, like flying instructor Lucas Wilcox. He says the development is shooting down the hopes for the future of flight.
And we're looking at advanced air mobility, and university here at Nottingham is very interested in developing hydrogen infrastructure and flying. This is an ideal site for all that kind of thing. A mile of railway takes you 1 mile. What does a mile of runway do? It can take you a lot further.
Vistry didn't want to comment on the protest held today, but in a statement the developer pledged to continue with the air ambulance landing agreement. And it said its portion of housing on the land will have a positive impact on the community, creating jobs, green spaces and much needed homes. But for the campaigners here, the flight is far from over. Jack Sims, for Notts TV.
Thank you, Jack. Right, time for some more news headlines first. And police in Mansfield are encouraging people to speak with frontline officers if they see them in their local coffee shops. Nottinghamshire Police are trialling a new initiative where officers work in town centre coffee chains. The aim is to engage with members of the public in a relaxed and informal setting so that they can answer and address any questions or concerns that they might have. It includes the Costa coffee chains in the town centre on Southwell Road, as well as the neighbouring Dunkin' Donuts and the Starbucks inside the Four Seasons. Next, and 3 suspected knife carriers have been charged following extra patrols by police in Nottingham. Nottinghamshire Police's knife crime team have been deployed in the city centre following 3 recent knife-related incidents. It's led to a teenager who was known to be a knife carrier being arrested and charged following a search in Upper Parliament Street. The 16-year-old will appear in Nottingham Magistrates Court next week. 2 other teens, including a 19-year-old man and a 16-year-old boy, were also arrested and charged following separate searches. Right, it's time for one final break. It's going fast today, but pop and grab yourself a cuppa. Come back after the ads because we've got a few International Women's Day features for you. Of course, International Women's Day is tomorrow, including heading to a brewery which has perfected a pink beer. I know, that's all on the way for you, and loads of sport too next. Hello, welcome back to Friday's show with me, Emma Caldwell. Thank you for joining us. Hope you've had a good day. Here's what's happening in Notts today. First, an Arnold Community Centre have received a life-saving defibrillator following a 3-year campaign. Killiswick Community Centre on Killiswick Road received the equipment this week, and staff inside it will now be trained on how to use it in an emergency. Defibrillators provide an electric surge which can help to restart a heart when a person is in cardiac arrest. The kits have been installed at hundreds of public buildings across Notts, with the Killiswick equipment secured following a campaign by local councillor Henry Wheeler. Next, and plans for 35 new apartments have been approved on the site of former offices in Nottingham's Leighton Market. The homes will be built on a building along Woolpack Lane and include nearly 3 dozen one-bedroom flats, all equipped with a living room, kitchen and bathroom. The plans were submitted by applicant CBP Architects in January and were approved by the City Council earlier this week, and come after the historic building underwent a £70,000 renovation 6 years ago due to its deteriorating condition. Moving on now, and it's time to chat beer because it is Friday after all, but rather than drinking it, we are going to see where it comes from. And that is because Blue Monkey Brewery has teamed up with scientists at the University of Nottingham to create a brand new pink beer ahead of International Women's Day tomorrow. You might remember our lovely Lucy Marshall heading up there a few weeks ago as they started brewing it. Well, now she's been back to see the final product.
1 week of brewing, another of conditioning, and a final one for carbonating. And 3 weeks later, the finished product is finally here. Blue Monkey Brewery's newest creation is Viva la Frida, a special new beer that's been launched for International Women's Day. It's aimed to get more women into brewing. You might be wondering what's so special about it, and the answer is, it's pink. The bright pink colour comes from the secret ingredient, hibiscus flower. Ian Wesley organised the collaboration with female brewers at the University of Nottingham.
We've done 2,500 litres. I think with all the bottoms dropped out, that equates to about 2,000 litres. So we're canning about 1,400 or 1,500 cans today, and the rest going into keg. So the kegs will travel out locally around beer festivals, starting with the Newcastle Beer Festival on the beginning of April.
But Ian wasn't the only one involved. Female brewers from the university were the ones that did the heavy lifting. Julia Roselli says the final product is all they hope for, and the taste is even better.
Yeah, so it's a hibiscus coriander orange wheat beer. So it's really refreshing. It's like fresh in the mouth, and it's kind of sweet. As it's been described, it's perfect for like spring and summer. Like you can picture on a hot day, it would be perfect. If anyone's interested, they can contact the Institute of Brewing, which is based in Nottingham at the university. We'd be really happy to answer any of your questions, whether you want to take a short course on brewing, or whether you just want a tour of our brewery, or even if you're interested in taking like a master's or a PhD.
The wheat beer is landing on shelves next week, but March the 8th, International Women's Day, is the day that matters for this new concoction.
So we're back
3 weeks later and things are looking and smelling a lot better than last time. This is the beer in all its glory, and this is the moment I think we've all been waiting for. That is lovely. Make sure you keep an eye out for the beer in and around Nottingham. This has been a great Friday for me. Lucy Marshall for Notts TV.
And we are sticking with the theme of International Women's Day at Nottingham's Queen's Medical Centre. There's an extra reason to celebrate the landmark date, the official opening of a new neonatal intensive care unit, which is mainly staffed by women who care for some of the poorest newborn babies in our region. And the day was a particularly poignant one for a mother and daughter from Notts, as Daisy Jameson reports.
After 2 decades of planning, this is a major milestone for local families and healthcare. Led by a predominantly female team, this £32 million project is transforming neonatal care at the QMC, increasing the number of cots for poorly babies from 17 to 38, making it the largest unit in the East Midlands. The state-of-the-art facility has well-equipped areas for each baby and a critical skills lab for staff training, like this where medics practice specialist life-saving skills on mannequins. The unit has been operational since December, when families and staff moved over from the old department as part of a soft opening, but now it's being celebrated in full. Nottinghamshire's Lord Lieutenant Veronica Pickering cut the ribbon on behalf of His Majesty the King, officially marking new life for neonatal care. Jenny Twin, Programme Director for Maternity and Neonatal Redesign, has helped to organise the design of the new unit. She says the day is a game changer for families.
It's 4 times the size of the unit that they had originally, so this for them gives them so much more space to be around their baby, but also to make it feel home from home, because for a lot of families this is a huge impact for them. Something massive has happened, they've had a baby, which is a huge thing to be celebrated, but then they need that extra support while their baby requires care, and so we want them to feel like they're at home, because for some families they'll be here for up to 12 weeks and this will be the only home they know with their new baby.
For parents like Charlotte Burley, the new unit has been a source of comfort during an incredibly difficult time. Her twins, Aubrey and Harland, were born at 25 weeks prematurely in October. When they moved into the new unit in December, she was overwhelmed by the warmth and support provided.
The new unit made it a lot easier to deal with, and you actually was happy to come in. It was spacious, it was quiet, it was just so much nicer. You didn't sort of feel like you was in hospital, you felt like at home sort of thing.
Nicola Hay works on the unit as an outreach administrator. She's seen both sides of its impact, not just as a healthcare professional, but as a mother. Both of her daughters were patients in the unit after birth, and now, in a full circle moment, her youngest daughter, who turns 18 on International Women's Day, is back to celebrate the opening with her.
Growing up knowing that, yes, I was in this not this neonatal unit, but the old neonatal unit, and knowing that I was taken care of by all the lovely staff. It's lovely.
We're looking after the mothers, we're looking after the babies. It's just such a privilege to work in such a lovely place. For me, I'm just so grateful that I've got my children, that they are here and they've grown. I can't thank everybody enough for what they've done for us.
Today is more than just the opening of a hospital unit. It's a celebration of the women who made it possible, the families it supports, and the future it promises. Daisy Jameson for Notts TV.
Thank you, Daisy. Now, Nottinghamshire Fire and Rescue Service are calling on people who live near a local fire station to apply for one of 12 on-call firefighter vacancies. A recruitment drive starts on Monday for the organisation's training programme, and that includes that dreaded fitness test. You've heard about it. It's the test with several requirements, with you needing to be able to reach 8.8 on the running beep test, as well as carrying a 55-kilogram human doll. Our reporter, Jordan Guerrero, went along with our local democracy reporter, Latifa Yedrood, who put herself to the test.
Reckon you could be fit enough to meet the high bar of a firefighter fitness challenge? Well, this week, Notts Fire and Rescue Service crews laid out their equipment at their HQ to put their colleagues in the police to the test. Officers were challenged to complete a mock fire rescue ahead of the fire service's on-call recruitment drive. Watch manager Kevin Ted says they're keen for all types physically active people to apply to help increase the size of their outreach team.
Just starting our yearly campaign now, looking for on-call firefighters across Nottinghamshire. We're looking to recruit at all of our on-call stations, so that means you need to live roughly 5 minutes away from your local station, or if your main employer will release you from work, you can do that as well. You can respond there as well. We're looking to fill a number of different roles, and we're looking for men and women across Nottinghamshire who are physically fit, want to get involved with their local community.
We were given a look at just how hard this test actually is. And after sizing her up, Kevin took one look at our local democracy reporter Latifa Yedrood and reckoned she'd be just fine.
She's going to be excellent. She's already she's making excuses about how she's going to get on, but listening to her so far, she's going to be brilliant.
It feels rather heavy, and I can tell that this is definitely fireproof. I mean, you can feel the material, and so for firefighters having to go through fires in this heavy gear.
I'm exhausted, so it's not easy. I don't think it's for the faint-hearted. These firefighters really got a lot of grit and a lot of fitness to them, so don't underestimate them.
Are you going to treat yourself to a burger after this?
Yeah, and just a soft drink. I'm really hot in this. I deserve a treat, definitely.
Jordan Guerrero and Latifa Yedrouge for Knots TV.
Well done, Latifa. That is not easy. Elsewhere on Knots TV, and tonight we're going to be airing the latest episode of the Knots TV Debates, where Francis Finn and a panel of local leaders discuss the hottest issues hitting the headlines, both locally and nationally too. And one of those topics is whether Hooters bars are sexist. Here's some of that clip now, and you can watch the full show tonight at the slightly later time of 9:30, straight after the Panthers.
Do you think it's sexist? I'm just asking because we've got a bar in Nottingham. There's a new one just opened in Newcastle, but we believe that the company is on the verge of bankruptcy. So could it be that it's losing its appeal? I don't know. Is it sexist? I'll start with you, Penny, briefly.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Mike, you love a Hooters, don't you?
Yes. Well, I've been for years, but I'm proud that we've got one. That touch of American-style approach. My lasting memory of going to Hooters. Have you been? Sorry, what was your experience in Hooters? Did you?
It was horrible.
Did you? Yes. Yeah.
So just to explain, if you're not familiar,
happy?
Hooters, the waitresses, and they are mostly girls, young girls.
All right, it's time for your Friday photo of the day. Now look at this lovely summery shot taken by our very own Nicola Dawson at Woodthorpe Park. Time now for your weather, and tonight we'll see temperatures drop to 8 degrees. Tomorrow will be a sunny one throughout, so get yourself outside and make the most of it. Temperatures go all the way up to 18 in the early afternoon with lows of 6 in the evening. Lastly, Sunday will be sunny all day with lows of 6 and highs of 18 again. And that is the end of the show and another week on Knots Today. But before we go, we need to say goodbye to our lovely Jordan Guerrero. It's his last day at Knots TV tonight. He has been incredible. He's off to start some new adventures, and we will miss him very, very much. Whatever you're doing with your weekend, have a lovely one. I will be back with you on Monday. Unusually, I'll be back with you 5:30 on Monday afternoon with all the very latest. But from me and the team and our brilliant guests tonight, have a lovely weekend. I'm Emma Caldwell, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.